All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Multiverse Show, greatest show on Mondays, episode 154. Thank you guys for tuning in on day 4 of quarantine. We'll see how long this lasts here in the States, but we got a real action-packed show for you guys. Sam is on the way. He will be hopping in. He will be our Sherpa of Xbox SX news as we get into that topic tonight. But first off, we have to do our introduction of our regulars here. So we have Mr. The Duke of Dallas himself, Mr. iDizzy.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm here again, against my will, but you know how that goes. You know how Anchorman is.
All right, and we have the Lord of Lightning himself, Mr. Demigod.
What's going on? What's going on? Here to talk games. Glad for the invite.
And we have I'll put it this way first. We'll have a official multi-Corsman member, Mr. Inferno, who I have asked consistently ever since this show has been created to come on this show, and for the first time ever, has finally graced us with his presence. Mr. Inferno.
Hello, guys. Nice to meet you all. I don't know what he's talking about, but you can catch me at First Saint Inferno on Twitter. I talk a lot about political stuff and gaming, so it's up to you.
Inferno, did he threaten to break your legs and force you to play nothing but Fallout like he did me?
Oh, yes. Help.
Oh.
I thought so. I thought I heard you over in the other room.
And we have for the first time, and on kind of an impromptu random invite, but you know how it is on this show, we just have random people who shows up at times. We have Mr. Robbie Hood gracing us with his presence, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Other than the fact that I feel like I've overdosed on pollen, I can't complain. So, and man, there was a lot of shit dropped today, so let's do it.
Yep. Oh, and we have the White Wolf himself, Mr. Samuel Tolbert. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing really well. Sorry I'm running just a moment late here, but I'm happy to be here, guys. Let's get the show on the road.
You came in at the right time. And speaking of which, we have a little bit of things we do have to discuss. Real quick, public service announcement. If you guys are here in the States or really anywhere worldwide, as you guys we've talked about on this show before, the coronavirus has been a bit rampant here in, I know, North Carolina. They've declared a state of emergency, and they did so nationwide. It's been a bit crazy. Just a little public service stuff. Don't go out if you don't have to necessarily. Stay away from kissing random strangers on the street.
Dang it!
Wash your hands. Common basic stuff.
And do not masturbate with the hand sanitizer. There's way too much alcohol in it. It will burn. You will not enjoy it.
Just the tip.
That's it. Just be careful with hand sanitizer. Use it on your hands only, please.
All right. So we got some really cool stuff we're going to talk about. But I know, Sam, we have a corporate sponsor. Not been the best time to get a sponsor this week. Sam, we're being sponsored by this week, correct?
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, as it turns out, we are sponsored by the Umbrella Corporation this month. But they want you to know that no matter how bad things get out in the world or how virology spreads, that you are the stars of their customers. And they are always going to make sure that they're keeping their eye fixated on you. They're never going to leave. They're never going to go away. They're always going to be stalking or supporting you. You have their guarantee.
Yeah. I just thought about something. Corona is a anagram for raccoon.
Ah.
I'm very disturbed now. Anyway, we got some cool stuff we got to talk about. But first off, the question we ask every single week: what have you guys been playing? Let's start off with some of our new people. Wilmy, what have you been playing, sir?
I have been playing the hell out of Call of Duty: The Warzone. Ever since it released a couple nights ago, I have been on it religiously. So I just can't get away from it. And plunder is addictive. But I'm waiting till Friday, because Friday comes and Doom Eternal releases. Call of Duty will be set aside for quite a while.
Yep. Oh boy, I can't wait for Doom. All right.
Just salivate just thinking about it.
All right, Mr. Inferno, sir, what have you been playing?
Well, most recently, I've been partaking in one of the greatest masterpieces of this year so far, Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I have the same opinions on it as Ran Althor, if everyone knows who he is. And before that, Yakuza 0, supporting the Japanese games that come to Xbox when I can.
Solid lineup. Mr. Tolbert, sir, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a few different things. I'm almost done with this Gears 5 Operation 2. Only have a couple more ranks to go. I've been going back through the original Blind Forest Definitive Edition, earning all the achievements in that before. I'm not in the right headspace for Will of the Wisp at the moment, and I want to finish up stuff with Blind Forest before I touch Will of the Wisp, but I'm sure it's fantastic. I've also been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare's Warzone Battle Royale with 150 players, and it's really enjoyable. I especially like the elaborate respawn mechanic with the Gulag, where you have one chance to come back and you can throw rocks at the other prisoners. It's actually really fun. It's really jovial. But that's what I've been playing.
All right, Mr. Dizzy. Is Dizzy dead?
Did you hear me?
Yeah, we heard you. I was
okay.
I said Dizzy.
I do apologize. I didn't hear anything come out. Okay, so I've been playing, of course, Borderlands, just finishing that up. I'm trying to 100% everything on that on my first run. And then also dabbling a little bit of Conan, Exiles and everything. I can't get away from these open world survival games. I'm just getting prepared for Grounded for when that. And I don't know what Wilmy was talking about, but Friday is reserved for Animal Crossing. So that's the day of Animal Crossing. I can't get away from these open world survival that moved everybody away. That's what Friday's reserved for, sir.
I'm sorry. No. Can't do it.
All right, Demigod, what you been playing, sir?
It's just been consistent between Fallout 76 and Overwatch.
My God.
I got hit by the Fallout bug, and I actually can't get enough of it.
And you didn't tell me?
I didn't know if you still played it.
You didn't know if I still played it?
I didn't know.
Anchorman and Fallout, of course. That's like a Unisys thing. You know, it's actually ironic that you're playing that. I actually started watching a new show whenever I'm not playing anything. It's not new, but I started watching The 100. It reminds me a lot of Fallout, and it actually made me want to kind of like, that's actually why I started playing Conan. I was going to play Fallout 76, but then I realized I want to play a better, superior open world survival game.
Oh.
Shots fired.
I will remember this moment.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, cool things. Briefly, because we want to talk about this. I know Sam hates rumors, so we're going to just go ahead and get rid of this out of the way right now. So, there's another rumor that came out today, hastily written, in my opinion. Another rumor that supposedly, secretly, Sony is planning on purchasing Konami IP, and they're going to bring Kojima back, and they're going to put it all under the Sony banner. Does anyone think this is real?
That would be
No, but it is hilarious how some people are running with it, though. Just because, it would be a notch under Sony's belt. Like, hey, let's run with it.
I back what I saw Sam had tweeting earlier. With this is pretty much, or not tweeting. It was in a Discord. It's a 4chan rumor. So, rumors spell LIE there, but it's a 4chan rumor. No, it ain't happening. That's a lot of money that they'd have to put down on it. I wouldn't be surprised if Konami is trying to fund their, non-gambling with massive air quote machines, but Sony's not buying them. No,
absolutely not. It's a 4chan rumor. There is some validity to the report that came from a website called Rely on Horror that there is maybe the bad blood between Kojima and Konami has been patched up thanks to Sony, and that Silent Hills could be reborn. There is a bit of validity to that rumor, so it's entirely possible that that happens. But Sony acquiring Konami's IPs and all this nonsense, no. Stop it. Not happening.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so either. Although the thought of a new Silent Hill game does strange things to me, and I would jump off a building and crawl through busted glass to play. But yeah, I just have a hard time believing Konami's being bought.
I mean, it would be nice if something actually happened with Konami's IPs, and that they would like stop drinking and gambling. I'm sorry, not gambling with their machines, because they got a lot of IPs that I think that a lot of people, have valued over the years. Castlevania, Silent Hill, obviously. I myself, I was more apt to see like a revival of Dakota. So see something actually happen with their IPs, but it's not going to go down this way.
I knew this rumor wasn't legit when they said Castlevania Lords of Shadow, and I'm like, nobody liked this game. Like, a lot of people didn't like this game.
Yeah, that's true.
And I agree because I'm one of them. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, so I think that we could put that rumor away and never look at it again.
Anything you want to add, Inferno, before we move on to real topics, things that would happen and really do happen?
No, that's it. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. I want IPs from them to come back, but really not exclusive though. I would prefer multiplayer, but let's see.
Yeah. All right. So real topics, things that actually happen. Because I know the Series X stuff is going to take a little while. I'm going to get the COVID-19 stuff out of the way. Sam, you mentioned in our little plan chat there, there have been some game delay murmurs going on.
Yeah, there's no exact games. I want to be very clear. There's no exact games right now, and the immediate games are safe. You're getting Doom Eternal, you're getting Animal Crossing, Resident Evil 3 remake in April, Gears Tactics, Minecraft Dungeons, Wasteland 3, Final Fantasy 7 remake, part whatever. You're getting all those games. I want to be very clear. Anything through April to early May is safe. Beyond that, however, word is brace yourself, games are getting delayed. Do not be surprised if, say, The Last of Us Part 2...
Oh, man.
I said it, I'm sorry. But don't be surprised if it gets another delay, or a couple of these other games. CD Projekt Red says they're still on track for Cyberpunk 2077. They say they're still okay, but, Square Enix's Avengers is still coming out in September.
What about Ghost?
Ghost of Tsushima, who knows? There's tons of other games
past May. Don't say it.
Past May, don't be surprised. Go ahead and brace yourselves because the delays are coming.
I mean, without the virus, would you be surprised if The Last of Us 2 got delayed again?
Not 100%, but still.
What did I say? What was the thing? I said, aren't they going to delay it to to coincide with the release date of the first game?
You did say that. You said that a while ago. You called that. So it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. I think it's entirely possible that either that happens, or maybe Ghost keeps its spot and Last of Us Part 2 ends up getting delayed. I think that's possible too.
Listen, I'm trying to get my Sony boost on, so I don't need that delayed.
I know you said games, but what about consoles?
We honestly don't know. It's too far up in the air. We do not have the knowledge about the manufacturing process to call whether or not these consoles are coming out, except that Microsoft did in their new stuff that they released today. They did reiterate holiday 2020.
And AMD did last week as well.
Right.
So keep your fingers crossed, though, that nothing changes. Especially after that reveal today.
Which I presume we're going to get to now.
You're right, sir. Let's get into it, sir. But first off, I think at least in terms of how we should tackle this, let's do some of the tech stuff first, and we'll get into the application things a little bit later.
Agreed.
All right, Sam, take us away. What are the technical specs that we can look forward to holiday 2020?
Okay, so in a really quick overview, the nutshell version of this is Jez's leak on Windows Central was correct back in December, but with a couple of twists and turns and bonuses that we didn't know about. Yes, we previously got the confirmation of 12 T-flops RDNA 2. Technically speaking, it's more than that. It's actually 12.15 T-flops RDNA 2. It's a lot of floppage. Microsoft is bringing the floppage. That cannot be denied. There's 8 Zen 2 cores on the CPU, which is a huge architectural leap, and they are 3.6 gigahertz with hyperthreading, or 3.8 gigahertz without hyperthreading, which is a ridiculously high clock rate for a console CPU. We're also getting 16 gigabytes GDDR6 memory. That's the RAM. 10 gigs are clocked at an absolutely ludicrous 560 gigabits per second, whereas 6 gigabytes are clocked at a much more reasonable 336 gigabits per second. And you're also getting a 1 terabyte custom SSD as the internal. And on top of that, we got details on the expansion drive. Memory cards are coming back, boyos.
Ooh.
Didn't Nintendo predict this?
Nintendo saw it coming.
Yep.
Back to cartridges.
Memory cards. Let's get it.
So
yeah,
there's a wrinkle to this though. Like, so this is probably the most contentious thing that was announced today, honestly. At least in terms of the Xbox news. So there's been a lot of back and forth regarding this about whether or not you can or cannot do it. There's been question about whether or not your USB-related hard drive or your external will be able to plug into it and actually work. The answer is yes, it will work. But my understanding, if you want like the full access and power of the Series X to be applied to your older games, they're going to have to be installed on the internal. Or if you had the Seagate's actually the partner for these new little memory cards.
Right.
So you're actually gonna have to have one of these memory cards for it to work.
That's exactly right. You can plug in your hard drive right now that you have loaded up with all your games, and you can play them, but they aren't going to get all of the benefits that they would if they are installed on the Series X. It's your choice. New Series X games, however, must be installed on the SSD or the expansion cards. No ifs, ands, or buts. But with your old stuff right now that you've got, you have some options.
I'm just curious. I'm curious on these expansion cards at how much they'll actually go up to, how much they'll actually store.
The minimum requirement is 1 terabyte because Digital Foundry explained Microsoft is requiring the card to match the internals. Developers need to, at minimum, always have a terabyte of space to work with and plan around, like in terms of, hey, this exists. This is the hardware we've got. You're not going to see a 256 gigabyte card or a 128 or a 512, anything like that. It will be a 1 terabyte card at minimum. However, multiples of that in larger denominations are possible. So we could see 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte, or 4 terabyte cards. That's
what I'm hoping for because, I mean, we've got games now. Look at Call of Duty. It's like 150 gigs by itself. So, and they're only going to get larger from here.
Exactly.
Yep. Same thing I was thinking.
But I think that's probably the biggest concern, especially aren't these, part of my ignorance, but aren't these cards themselves like in the modern time kind of expensive?
I think somebody had said they were like 127. I think it was Major Nelson had posted earlier.
I think we're probably going to see them start at $99 for a 1 terabyte is what I would say. They'll start there, and then they'll go up. And keep in mind that cost will come down over time.
Oh, of course.
Cheaper and cheaper. And here's the thing. I understand. I saw some people saying they're very upset about this. I understand you're upset that some of your choice moving forward will be taken away. It's not being taken away for your old games. It's just moving forward. But the other thing is, this is important. Developers being able to plan around the fact that a next-gen game will always run on an SSD that can't be overstated. That's going to lead to better games. It's going to lead to games that stream in their textures much faster, and it's going to lead to smaller games. Because, as an example, in Marvel's Spider-Man, Insomniac explained that they had to copy data hundreds of times. There are objects in memory hundreds of times in that file size because of how fast you're swinging across the city, and just because you are running it off of a hard drive, which is a mechanical plate that spins around, you need to be able to get to it fast enough. On an SSD, you'd only need it once. So game sizes, after a year or two, are actually going to come down as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because of this move.
Yeah, I think that we've even started to see like that actually even start to work on this gen as well. Like, because I noticed some of the higher end 4K games and the assets that you would have like on the Xbox One X, they actually have gone down in file size. They found a way to be able to shrink it down, so it's not as expensive. I'm pretty sure
like,
the Gears is one of those.
I seem to recall like Rainbow Six Siege being like in the 60 gigabyte range, and now it's down like 47.
Yeah, they've compressed it a bit. They've compressed it a bit.
So it's all worth the sacrifice.
Yeah, hopefully.
Any of the options that you got, it sounds like it's going to be worth it. Load times alone, you know.
Yeah. All right. So at least beyond that, I mean, that was really the only big point of contention. Everything else was, pretty stellar.
Everything else is great. They're going above and beyond in every way. You want me to talk about the backward compatibility stuff?
Please do.
Yeah, this is a big deal. This to me is the biggest deal, actually. So, two things. Microsoft, you guys remember how a handful of 360 games were enhanced on Xbox One X? Just a handful.
Yeah, right.
Witcher 2, the original Assassin's Creed, Mirror's Edge, a few others, through the Huchi method. Well, they've evolved the Huchi method, and they're actually enhancing select Xbox One games that didn't get enhanced, for Xbox One X. An example, Gears of War Ultimate Edition did not get an X patch, never did. But now, through the evolved Huchi method that they've enhanced on Series X, they're able to get it running at full 4K with no work required from the Coalition. That's just them popping it in and tweaking some settings that they're going to run. And so, in theory, we could see other games like, Rise Son of Rome or Sunset Overdrive, some of those games that didn't get patches, we could still see them hit 4K or near 4K.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big deal, in my opinion. That's pretty nice. Even if it's not across the board, it's pretty cool. Then, sorry, go ahead, Ivan.
I was like, by the way, before we move on too far, I didn't want to forget about this. What we were talking about earlier about compressing file sizes and such. To give you an idea, so I'm looking at Doom Eternal versus Doom 2016. And yes, there's been a few content updates to Doom, but the fact that Doom Eternal is a bigger game by every stretch of the imagination, right now Doom is like about 60 gigs and Doom Eternal is like 40.
And Doom Eternal is twice the size of Doom in terms of the campaign.
Yeah.
So yeah, file optimizations are already happening, but it's going to get way better on SSDs, for sure. But there's another thing about the backward compatibility, Ivan. Did you catch this?
Is it the part I'm thinking about where you don't actually have to have permission?
Yep, this is cool. This is the coolest thing on earth. So everyone who here has played Gears 5, right?
Yes.
All right. And everyone knows, whatever you think of Gears 5, the HDR in that game is fantastic. It's some of the best HDR, period, to exist. Well, they are using machine learning, which is AIs that figure things out, and they used machine learning to study the HDR in Gears 5, and now, in theory, are able to apply HDR to every backward compatibility game that doesn't have HDR.
Ooh.
So Halo 5, for example, has HDR now. 343 did not touch one line of code, did not lift a pinky finger. But Halo 5 will have HDR on Series X because the machine studied it and it figured out, okay, this needs to be highlighted, but this needs to be darkened. This needs to be highlighted, this needs to be darkened. And to the point that Digital Foundry was impressed. And they said, yeah, this is real HDR. This is not fakery.
Yep.
Then You could go ahead, Ivan.
They even went as far back as like even Fusion Frenzy has HDR.
Fusion Frenzy!
Oh, man. They did that for you, Ivan.
I know, right?
Yep. They did that for him.
days.
And again, Digital Foundry said it looked good. It was not fake HDR. They saw the specular highlights, which is basically like they saw the heat map. They saw how hot in the nits of brightness, and it was real HDR. So, in theory, every backward compatible game on Xbox One will have HDR, which is astounding, honestly.
Yep.
Okay, you said that the sponsor was Umbrella Corp. Are you sure it's not Skynet?
We're pretty sure. Umbrella's branching out. Skynet might be one of their acquisitions these days.
Yep. But the part I'm way more interested in, at least in terms of that, is the fact they don't have to ask permission from like
right. As best I can tell here, they aren't required to ask anything. It's just it works. Period.
Yep. And the reason why I'm particularly more interested in that, not necessarily the HDR, but it's specifically what happened this generation, where it was all these games that came out in 2013 and 2012, even prior, were getting re-releases on the next gen consoles, and a lot of them are being like price gouging differences.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just for example, what's it called?
Ultimate Alliance?
Yep, that's what it was. Ultimate Alliance, which received no actual update to the game. I'm very adamant about this. People forget, like they're like, oh, but it's 1080p. You don't remember? Back on 360, it was 1080p too. There was a 1080p mode. It ran like crap, but there was a 1080p mode. So I imagine Activision and other places who don't really want to do too much work, instead of them having the ability to just like, oh yeah, here's the game. It's like, no. It's backwards compatible, and it updates for free. Don't worry about this. No opportunity for price gouging here.
And that's something that I have to praise overall, dudes, is that Microsoft's messaging for this thing, since the Game Awards reveal, has been on point. They have not stumbled one bit at all. It's clear, concise post. It's, we're talking about this, but then we're going to have the experts at Digital Foundry look as well. It's, we're going to talk about this, but here's a demo on YouTube showing it in action as well. I can't praise their messaging here enough, honestly.
They definitely learned a lot from 2013.
Yeah, very clearly.
Because it's almost like a different company now.
No, Xbox is a new water cooler.
Dude, they even played into that too with the fridge.
With the refrigerator.
That was funny.
They embraced the meme. Embrace the memes.
They hit the meme first.
Well, I think they've learned how to deal with the internet trolls, because we all know it doesn't matter. Microsoft could come out and say, "Oh, this thing's going to end world hunger. It's going to, clear away the oceans, get all the debris out of the oceans," and people would still find a way to complain or raise hell over it. So I think they've figured that one out.
Absolutely, reasonable people are going to be very happy with this, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as the messaging, I think that, to be honest, I think that they should we should also give a nod to, this is pretty much, the Nintendo Direct. Nintendo started doing this with E3 because they wanted to be clear and precise. And seeing how well that worked out, and now Microsoft is using that to play into their card, where they're clear and precise. This is what we want to tell you, and they don't have to worry about the mishaps. They don't have to worry about, well, we have a console for you.
Yep.
Or don't you have a phone? So I think that it's great, especially that they are talking rather than being self-silent. So yeah, hats off to them.
Yeah. I want to remind everyone about what Phil Spencer said on the Gamertag podcast interview. Shout out to those guys. He said that they were going to be bold, and he's definitely not lying about that. I don't think he named the lady, but he said there was some lady where they had a meeting like, hey, what we're doing right now hasn't been working, so let's do something different. Let's be bold. And they're definitely doing that. This balls to the wall, here it is. And everybody's like, yeah.
And they've been doing it since the VGAs, too.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think they're going to stop anytime soon.
I mean, I would say it was even before
good.
the VGAs. I would say, like, as I know Sam and I definitely noticed this at E3 like 2016 and onward. Like, that was when there was a huge mental shift where it was they realized they could control a narrative and dominate. Like, for example, even though we knew about there being a PlayStation Pro for a while, but because Sony didn't act on it when Microsoft came out and announced their project first with Project Scorpio, they did that announcement in 2016. People got excited for it. And so basically it puts Sony on the defensive where they have to respond to them and everything else. But like I think that's when Microsoft realized that was a winning marketing strategy for them. And they're continuing that, but to an extreme now. Like, now it's to the point where, like, okay, where before they would just say, okay, we're going to go first, announce our thing, and then Sony has to respond to it. So they're always playing catch up. This time, they're not only doing that, they're going out first, making Sony have to respond. Or if they don't respond, they look worse. And if they do respond with something, basically Microsoft comes out and just completely shits over it.
Well, something funny. I just want to mention it really quick. While we're actually here, I just saw an article flash by on social media. Even a well-known PlayStation propaganda site is the way I'll put it. Just post, about the new Xbox X, and they're saying that there was a leak supposedly from NeoGAF or whatever it's called. And it's still claiming that it's more powerful than the new Xbox, that the PS5 will still be more powerful. And these guys are saying there's no way. They're saying they're not buying it, and this is actually coming from Push Square.
Oh, wow.
I mean, because it's just not reasonable to believe that something else could happen.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny when their own sites, that typically praise them.
I mean, credit to them, then. Credit to them, because, like...
At least they're honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, guys. If you had told anyone, including me, that we were getting these kinds of spec in the next-gen console this time last year, I'd have called you a lie. Everything.
I agree.
Literally everything here, with maybe the exception of the RAM. Everything else here is above and beyond my wildest expectations.
And this thing will actually outdo some gaming PCs.
Yeah.
They said it's comparable to was it 1020 or 2080?
The Series X is comparable to a 2080, yes. Which basically means unless you're comfortable dropping the cash on a 2080 Ti, your PC isn't outperforming.
I've got one PC beside me, which is an Alienware that I'm pretty sure this new Xbox is going to beat, hands down. But the one that I'm watching the stream on, I'm pretty sure it's not even close yet. But technology moves pretty quick in the PC world, so we'll probably be getting a 3020 here soon. Maybe.
And can I also point out that I think it's kind of ironic that Microsoft is using the big tech people like Digital Foundry that kind of worked this against a bit of early stages of this generation with the 1080p versus 900p, and now they're letting them reveal detailed information about their new consoles. They're now the most powerful. They did it with X, what I would say where the confidence was coming out with the Xbox One X, and they revealed that through them. And now with the Xbox Series X, they're continuing, and it's looking great for them.
I would also probably to rebuff that also, Jeff Keighley is definitely, known for his Sony rhetoric, but also having that at the Game Awards whenever they were doing the reveal. I think the card you're given.
That was huge.
Yeah, I don't think, and here, and I want to be very clear, I want to preface this very clearly by saying, began the conversation first, really, back in April 2019. Microsoft are the ones controlling it right now.
Yeah.
We'll have
definitely.
to see how that continues moving forward.
I'm buying both. I want both to do well, but
Absolutely.
it would be nice to see Xbox come out, for a change.
With the specs that we now know more of, does this change anybody's mind on what the price is going to be?
I think that this thing will be $500 and no one should complain about that.
Exactly. Not for what's inside
steal.
this.
You're getting a steal.
Oh, yeah. I feel more confident in this $500 versus the original Xbox One. $500. Way more. Like, this is a gaming console. There's no shenanigans going on with a Kinect or something like that adds to the price.
Yeah.
I only have one complaint with this console. I did not see the HDMI pass through.
Yeah, well, it died. But
sadly.
Sorry, man.
Sadly, so.
Yeah.
But that's my only complaint.
We're sitting here talking about the console, but that's not the only thing that they showed. What about that controller?
I like it. It's going to be hard to get that Elite 2 out of my hands, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a built-in battery pack?
Yes, it does. That's the best part. You just place it on the charger and walk away.
Yes.
And they last, oh my God, man. The charge on this thing will last like 15 to 16 hours of gameplay.
Actually, they took notes from the Nintendo Pro Controller.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, getting back to the new controller, it does not come with the charge. And I'll be honest, and this is probably the thing, if anybody saw my tweet right before the show went live, the thing that is really getting on my nerves is the individuals who are complaining about batteries being put into the back of the controller. And it turns out they're not even Xbox gamers.
I'm one of the ones complaining. By the time it was bad, there's going to be an Elite V3.
Possibly.
Very likely.
So
do you think they kept that out?
I like the option of it because I go through controllers a good bit, but I don't want to buy it. I mean, that's the thing. I got big meaty hands with. I go through controllers quite a bit. I bought a lot of controllers, but I also don't like the idea of if the controller is fine. I don't want the battery's just bad. I don't want to just throw away the controller. I'd like the option, like if they said, okay, cool, yeah, well, you don't have to have the internal battery is an optional thing, but we have our own rechargeable batteries that work just as well. If they did that, I'd be like, all right, cool, dope.
I think the healthy balance would be leaving it as it is, but including the play and charge kit battery with it, like Anchorbed kind of alluded to. That would have been nice. Like, or so maybe, that way, hey, there it is.
Or maybe come out with both.
Yeah. Give us an option.
I mean, they're always making all kinds of controllers. Why not?
They really are.
I mean, pretty much for 2013 to 2016, 2017, that's about all we got as Xbox fans were controllers.
Yep.
So
the golden age of controllers.
Man, I've got 78 of them, so I can tell you all about it.
I'm about to get that new controller soon. I really want it. That was it Phantom? Yeah, the Phantom. I forget what it's called.
One? Or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that one looks good.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the Phantom series just looks good in general.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, I dig the controller. Share button's cool. I personally don't really care about the share button so much. Anyway, because I think it's just because I got used to doing the old Xbox button, press Y, done with it kind of thing.
Right.
I got used to doing that, so I mean, I'm sure it's ultra convenient, but I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever.
I wonder if this one will stream natively to YouTube and Twitch.
I wonder.
That would be nice.
You can still stream to Twitch.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
You have to do it through the app.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, you already know Mixer's going to be built in, but it would be nice to see a YouTube option.
Sure.
I know Hood is used to this, but the fact that they're going to have a C port, the C port for the charger, that's huge to me.
Yeah, they did.
I hate. Yeah, I hate the other charging port. That way, you just stick it in there. You don't have to worry about it. That those seem to break easily, but the C charging port, ooh, yes.
Yep.
And then the Bluetooth. I'm still curious if that means Bluetooth headsets like PlayStation, or I'm still kind of wondering on that one. I still want to know if I could get a Bluetooth headset and connect it to my Xbox controller in the future or not.
I think the best wireless headset I've used for my Xbox has been the Arctis. That actually doesn't have some type of issue with disconnection.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, that controller. Oh, there's grips too. Apparently, there's texture.
Yep, it texture
on
triggers.
it. Oh man,
I think the triggers are probably my actual favorite change. It's going to be on the controller. So
There's just no paddles.
and he says for smaller hands this time around. So those small hand people out there, they got you
Why do
covered.
we keep catering to these small-handed people?
I'll keep on using my Elite V2. Thank you very much.
Why does everybody want to?
Yep.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it here.
What do they say about me with little hands, right?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
They
it.
wear little gloves, duh.
They're wearing little gloves.
Like men with small feet, they wear smaller shoes.
All right. So I mean, I guess this kind of goes back around. So the question, I guess, ultimately comes around to, with the, well, we should talk. Well, okay. Although we're talking about the new console, as we always hear every single time, at least on the PlayStation side, say, well, the console doesn't matter. It always comes down to games. That's true. Games are extremely important. Your exclusive lineup is also a major benefit. But something happened last week that we didn't get a chance to talk about on this show. Apparently, Sony's okay with letting some of their exclusives go away. And I think most of us are fine with that too. Horizon Zero Dawn, a game I've gone on record multiple times saying was extremely mediocre, with excellent character designs, I will say that much.
Except the facial animations.
Yeah, except that.
Oh God.
So that particular game is now going to be going to PC later this year. I believe summer 2020, if I'm correct.
That is correct. Yep.
And this is actually pretty dope. I wish Fame was here because he got some some press over the weekend. For those of you who don't know, he got featured on a YouTube channel, Griffin Gaming, as an example of someone being butthurt about Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC. But the funny part about the whole video is at the very beginning, they treat him like he's 100% legit. And anybody who knows Fame knows this. That was an entire parody video. It was hilarious. I was like,
Oh my God.
You realize this isn't right. Anyway.
Nope.
But yeah, so with the announcement of Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC, this is freaking some people out. I can basically say anybody who's been on this show has known we have said this is going to happen for a very long time. The age of true exclusives are over. Like, why would you want to limit your game you made with your own money to only one system when you could have it on as many platforms as possible? And
Exactly.
It's like it doesn't make any financial sense anymore. And yes, back then, whenever you were trying to sell the console, yes, it made sense. But we're not trying to sell consoles anymore. We're trying to sell software. And to arbitrarily limit your software is dumb. It makes no financial sense. But here we are. People are kind of butthurt about this. But do you guys think this sets a precedent for like future titles, like on a regular basis going, or is this kind of like a one and done situation, or you think there might be like maybe one or two other titles in the next 5 years or so?
Well, for starters, I know for a fact that Horizon Zero Dawn is not the only one that's going to. There's going to be a couple of others that come. Some big games, some small games. And it's true, not everything will come over at first. Not everything will. Not everything from the PS4 may come over. But the thing is, Sony is realizing, hey, the number of people who buy our PS4s because none of our games are on PC aren't actually that big of a crowd. It's the same thing Microsoft realized. That number of people is insignificant next to the number of games you're going to sell by putting your games on PC. So Sony realizes, okay, we're going to test the waters. They've got, Horizon Zero Dawn, but also Sony is directly publishing Predator Hunting Grounds. That's a Sony Interactive Entertainment game. It's a second-party game. They're directly publishing it on the Epic Games Store. They're going to slowly start broadening their horizons, and they're going to realize that their devs getting that extra money from the second dip on PC is pretty darn sweet. And that's a good thing. You should not be upset by that. Be happy. It is a good thing for your favorite developers.
I mean, I think that it's a given. It wasn't too long ago that there was a calling for employment with Naughty Dog for individuals who had experience with NVIDIA architecture. And as we know, we don't see NVIDIA on the console, so obviously it's for one thing. It's going to happen. And kind of like Sam said, it's probably going to be a little bit slow at first. I think eventually it will catch up once they finally see, like, hey, this is working. I think that their biggest scare is not so much the fact that it is going to work, but how's it going to affect the PlayStation side? Because as we see, there's a lot of passionate people about their brand that seem very upset with this, and for whatever reason, they're so loyal to it, and it just doesn't make sense, at least to the sane people, because sane people can't understand crazy.
I gave up trying.
Well,
It ain't worth the headache.
well, I want to say that I don't understand any of the panic, because I've been hearing for years now that everyone has a PC and they're going to enjoy those sweet Xbox games on PC. So now they can enjoy this sweet Horizon Zero Dawn God graphics on PC. So I don't get the anger. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know what happened.
I do admit, Horizon Zero Dawn, I've played it on my PlayStation Pro. I won't be double dipping and playing that one on PC. I don't know. The story kind of drags on. It takes a while to get into the game. I won't be double dipping on that one. Or Death Stranding.
I know that we had, I attempted to mention it last week when I said that that's one of the games I was playing, but I was playing it on the PC through PS Now. So, yeah, it's already there, whether they realize it or not, because you can play PS Now through your PC.
Yeah, I played God of War on my PC.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that complicated to do either.
Yeah, if you're not a PC gamer, this shouldn't bother you. Like, I don't play on there anyway, so I'm not. It doesn't affect me. I mean, you don't lose access to it or something. So,
and I mean, it's a good thing for the developers, man. That's more money. And for another, if you want to make a sequel to the game, here's a way to get more money to dump more money into that sequel.
I got this strange feeling Dave's going to be the next game.
Yeah,
Something.
no, it could be.
I could see
That could help it.
Especially
That
because
could help
he
it.
got a good amount of attention, but it didn't get like a great amount of attention when it came out. I could see
Right.
I see that being next.
Yeah.
I think it would fit.
It fits. It definitely fits.
Now, that one I would probably double dip. I actually like Days Gone.
60
Days
frames.
Gone, 60 frames per second, the texture's not disappearing like on my base PS4. Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah.
All those zombies, man.
Because I really got into that game. I enjoyed it for what it was. I had a few issues with it, but nothing, major. So I would definitely play that on PC.
I'm sorry, I said zombies. I mean freakers.
Yeah. Same thing.
I platinum the game, so don't judge me. I platinum it.
You definitely got to be careful what you say, because you also have to refer to them as clickers for the other one.
Yes, because those aren't zombies either.
Right. Well,
They just walk like zombies, talk like zombies, and whatever.
They're not zombies.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I guess this is also highlights another thing too. We did see E3 got canceled, so that's a big deal, honestly. But at least in terms of that's going to happen, one of the first people out there was Microsoft announcing they are going to be holding a digital event for this particular E3 stint. But like I mentioned before, this is also kind of goes into what we've been talking about the last few weeks. Sony has been really quiet, and even to this day, Microsoft has announced another event, and they just gave out all the specs on their console. Like, this is really kind of bizarre. Sony's been this quiet. We're in March with no announcement of anything about the console, really.
And then to double up on that, I mean, Nintendo came out right afterwards and said that, hey, we got an indie thing going on tomorrow, and also here's the next Nintendo Direct.
And aren't they doing a Game Stack Wednesday, Microsoft? Are they still doing that Wednesday?
I don't know.
Yes. Game Stack, the Game Stack streams are still happening. And let's be very clear before a lot of individuals. And I think that here's my bigger issue with a lot of people hyping this up, not knowing exactly what this is actually going to be about. This is a GDC stream. This is a dev talk. This is a dev talk. So unless you like talking about specs and seeing how they make the games and stuff like that, you're probably not going to be very interested in it. I think that probably the worst thing that's going on with the hype right now is because they're going to be doing these streams. Individuals are thinking games, and they're going to be talking Xbox Series X, and they're going to reveal the price and this and that. It's not going to be that. So anybody who's getting their hopes up for that might want to simmer down quite a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect any price talk till E3 time.
Yeah, the digital stream that would have been E3 is going to have your release dates and your price. Other than that, they're getting the tech talk out of the way now, so that not E3 can be focused on game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can
I think that as far as developers that they have, there's only 4 of them that were going to be there. So it's not even going to be all of them.
Can we expect Project X Cloud announcements?
Yes.
Well, and I'm not sure announcements, but they're definitely going to talk about it.
Oh, talk about it? Okay. I just want to see the progress.
If I were hypothesizing, I think that the most exciting thing that might happen when they're talking about, everything with the future, we might get a Lockhart announcement at this. I think it would be brief.
That's going to be...
I think a confirmation.
Ooh.
That's
would be
not
different.
happening yet. I mean, I don't think that'll happen from this, but I don't think we're that far off either.
Will it happen this year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it'll be in the next maybe couple of months. You will hear about it.
Yeah.
I would even say the next month.
Yeah. I wouldn't see anything past April.
Not next. For example, I wouldn't say this week, nor would I say next week, but week after next. Yeah, very possible. That's me. That's me personally. Microsoft is enjoying dropping things every couple of weeks right now.
I'm enjoying it too.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I just want that I just want that pre-order. I want to go ahead and order it.
I think that everybody's waiting for that. To be honest, I think that they should pull a trick out of Sony's playbook and wait for Sony to deliver something and drop something right on top of it.
That makes me wonder if that's what they're actually doing. Well, I don't know. I don't think they're actually doing that intentionally. So, but then again, maybe they are. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they should heavily promote that program. I forget what it's called. I got my X through it where you make payments.
Or Easy Access or something like that?
Yes. Yes, well, you basically make payments for it. I think that'll help, lighten the load of people that want to jump on next gen, don't have 500 or 4 to drop, and I think that will make a lot of sense. And if they include Game Pass with it too, like I got, it was a year? No, it was 2 years of Game Pass, 24 months of live and Game Pass that I'm still enjoying right now.
It's likely something that they will talk about. Right now, there's no reason to. Given the fact that we still don't have a price, we don't have a release date, so it'd be kind of odd where they're kind of like pushing the envelope with that. But I think
not this quick, not this soon.
yeah. Once
Not
you
this
see the price and the date, they're very likely gonna start pushing that program as well, so that they can try to get as many people onto the next gen at a quicker rate than obviously from the last gen.
Yeah. It's true. All right. Well, good show. I will say that much. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll do some outros here. I know because we're kind of pressed on time. We're right up on our barrier here. But real quick, I want to do our outros. Sam, where can the good people find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's Tolbert. And you can find what I write on Windows Central for Xbox and PC. I'm more for Nintendo, and Android Central whenever PlayStation decides to talk about PlayStation again.
All right. And Dizzy, where can people find you, sir?
Likewise on Twitter at iDizzy81 across all platforms with the same, unless of course you do want the social security for your Nintendo. Also be able to find me. I'm writing over at FloridaGaming.net, where you can find our written work there. Doing more of the editing these days, so who knows? Maybe I'll drop another emotional story on somebody.
Dude, your article was amazing, Dizzy.
Sometimes I can get in the mood for it. That's what she said.
It was very good. It was very good.
Really good.
Appreciate it.
All right. And let's see. Demigod, where can people find you, sir?
All right, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch at Demigod Reviews. I'm usually just tweeting about a bunch of random stuff and having discussions about hip hop. So come through. I do reviews. I'm writing my own stuff currently for myself. So if you guys want to check it out, just hit me up. And yeah, that's it.
All right. And Wilmy, where can people find you, sir?
Oh, I'm the easiest man in the world to find. You can find me under Wilmy Hood at just about everywhere on social media, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, even Stadia, Steam, Epic Store, and you can find me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern at Gaming Beyond the Box on my YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Me and the Fort crew hanging out, playing games, getting stupid. Matter of fact, here in the next 30 minutes, you can find me on Twitch.
All right.
Under Wilmy Hood.
Excellent. All right. And Inferno, sir, where can the good people find you?
Well, Twitter, First Saint Inferno. That is me on Twitter. Like I said before, political stuff from time to time, gaming, and random cat videos. And I'm always keeping things spicy with the memes. So that's where you can find me.
All right. And I'm Anchorman V2. You guys know how to find me. I'm on everything. Same tag across the board. Xbox, PlayStation, no more Switch for now. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to the greatest show on Mondays, and we are out of here.